Morning. I'm back in the office, as you can see. The only quiet space that I can find. You might hear a bit of noise, but quiet enough anyway. Thank you to the YouTube channel, The Sanity Machine. He does some good stuff. You check it out. He put some comments on the bottom of one of my videos and got me thinking last night, I think maybe, and the night before. I don't know. Time is wonky for me anyway. Mostly about suffering, but also, I guess, motivation, like from the point of view of why do people do things, you know, what's your angle? I suppose to find out why should you listen to the message, like that's my take on it anyway. Why you find out someone's angle. Are they selling a book? Have they got a Patreon? Do they want you to join a cult? Have they got a Telegram channel? Have they monetized the YouTube channel and they're just clicking you, getting clickbait? You know, all of that sort of stuff. And so what's the fucking point of talking to a screen? There's actually the very first video I ever did, I think, was, what's the point? I'd have to go back and look at it. It's probably 2 years old. I don't know, maybe more, as to what I thought the point was then. But I mean, the point is suffering, right? This system is fucked. Like, my kids, and so people watching this might even laugh that I chose to have kids into this system. But perhaps that's an act of rebellion against the system, or maybe that's just my ego having a tantrum. Who knows, yeah? The system's fucked. Totally fucked. And when you look inside, and I don't mean the Western system, I mean the system. The fake-ass matrix overlay over the top of whatever the bones of this place is, for however long that's been going on, long or short. It's fucked. It's a harvesting machine. I mean, I forget that there are people here that don't know me, because most of the people that watch this do know me, or have read comments of mine for a while, and so there are people who don't know me, and they don't know why I would possibly have the views that I have. And, you know, I'm a lot more outspoken in different areas. I'm not that outspoken on YouTube because, fuck, you can't be railing all the time, everywhere, because you just get strikes and bans. And, like, YouTube is the beast system. It is a harvesting machine. As I do this phone and this algorithm and this website is fucking harvesting me. I'm not getting anything out of this. This is costing me. And if you're watching it, hopefully you've got enough sense and enough protection around you that it's not costing you as much to view me on the beast machine as you're getting out of watching me. And if it is, fucking turn it off. Get out of it. Like, we're behind enemy lines here. This is a farm. You are getting harvested. And the substance that is getting harvested is suffering. Human misery and suffering. And you can only get that out of people if they're slaves. I mean, that's it. It's really fucking simple. That's the system, as I see it. Maybe that's not everything. That's certainly not every level in here. There are levels in here, up and down, and there are levels out of here. I've been to a few of them. I see in a few of them, right? That's not every system here. That's not every being, but that's the overwhelming system that is working here, that we are under, is a slave system that is fed on human misery and suffering. There we go, 4.5 minutes. Job done. Really simple. Now, his second bone that he picked with me was that I come across as an intellectual lefty who puts words in people's mouths, and that I don't know real human suffering, and so I wouldn't understand suffering. And suffering is the key to everything here. I agree with that, and I disagree with that. So there's 3 things that I would say on that. As far as the sanity machine's concerned, and a lot of other people, I probably haven't suffered very much in this life. I haven't got one foot blown off by a landmine scraping out lithium in a fucking mine in the Congo for some yuppie's Tesla or this phone that I'm recording this on. I'm not getting beaten up by my spouse. There's a whole lot of shit that could be going a lot worse for me than it is through my whole life. So maybe I don't understand suffering in the way that someone who has really been put through the ringer, you know, Aleister Crowley style. We're gonna that isn't that what the elites do? They fucking tromp on their kids to make them suffer terribly, either to drive them half out of their body so something else can come in and possess them, or to totally enslave them. Their mind, their emotions, their actions. I mean, this is not fucking new. This didn't start with MK Ultra. This didn't start with the Prussian school system. Like, this is an old game that certain beings play. And so this gets to point number 3 of why I don't talk about suffering, because there is a view that if you're not talking about suffering and pointing out the misery and the suffering and the slavery all around you as if it needed pointing out, because fuck me, what else is there? Honestly, show me something else. Why I don't talk about it is because it's a distraction. Now, you might not like that word, depending on how much you've suffered, but that's what it is. It's a fake out. The reason you carpet bomb someone's city in a war, rather than carpet bombing their army encampment or their munitions factory, is for suffering and misery. Not because there's anything in the city worth fucking bombing. You're going to distract the country because the citizens are going to say, this war is too expensive. Like, the people who you enlisted in the army, the people who you like rounded up and forced into the army, the people who chose to go, great, patriotic duty, go for it. But now we've got suffering at home and misery, and we're not up for that. You got to fucking call this war off. You either win it this month or we're out. So why would certain humans like come in here with suffering? They're not getting picked on. It's not a bad choice. They didn't walk down the wrong fucking alley. They didn't choose to backmouth a teacher rather than shutting up. Like, they got born into that fucking family. They got born with funny limbs. They got born with weird genetic stuff. That's not a choice. Like, you have to be a fucking moron to try and say that that's a choice or that's God. Well, maybe it is God's will, but you want to hang out with that God? I don't. That's not my cup of tea. That's a fucked God. They're the kind of beings that run this shit. They run this system. So, of course there's stuff going on that's fucked that people aren't choosing. That's the whole point. If you're a high-level, high-class spirit who either gets tricked in here or has come in here for a reason, fuck knows what that would be, a rescue mission, let's not go into the light worker tropes of I'm here to do this and we'll save you with that, and maybe delusional. Like, come on, we'll be really honest here with each other. Like, if you've got, but all that to say, who the fuck are you actually? You are not your ego. You are not your body. You are a spirit who came in here, either tricked, trapped, or something, right? Who's that? How much power does that have? Ooh, right. Parasites don't have a lot of fucking power. Last I checked, a tick, a leech, really easy to pull off you. Now, a tick might get some venom in you. Yeah, that's fucked. But parasites, for the most part, they're vines that choke trees, right? Yeah, they can overpower massive trees if you let them go, but a 2-year-old could pull the fucking vine down. They're not strong. Parasites are not strong. So what do they have to do? They have to distract you. How do you distract a human with a heart and empathy? You fucking make them suffer, or you make everyone around them suffer. That's how you get them off their game. And maybe fixing the suffering. And that's great. Go and fix the suffering. Go and fuck, these YouTube channels aren't fixing any suffering. Like, someone might roll up in the comments and say, thank you so much, you did such a good, that's great. Go downtown. There's someone on the corner of the street, he's fucking suffering. Help him. Like, get off the screen and do the real life thing, yeah? The soup kitchen, the whatever. Go and check on your neighbour who's 90, whose family won't visit him or her. If we're going to talk about dealing with suffering, it doesn't happen through these fucking things. This is the beast system. But that's the distraction, right? You carpet bomb the city. What does everyone do? They help the wounded. They help the injured. They put out the fires. They clear the rubble from their neighbour's yard. They do the shit that humans do that have a fucking heart. That means, what are they not doing? They're not building bombs. They're not training soldiers, and they're not fighting against you. They're not sending fighter planes after the fucking bombers that just carpet bombed the city. You have distracted them. And it would be a very hard-hearted human that didn't get distracted by the suffering. And if so, I would imagine the way that I would set this up, if I was a cunt, is if you were an OG in here, spirit-wise, and you knew that game, and you went, well, there's no point fixing the suffering unless it's right in front of me, and then, of course, I will deal with it because it's right in front of me. But if it's abstract, if it's actually one step removed from me, then the way to fix the suffering is to go after the system that is causing the suffering. Be that the school system, be that the hospital system, be that the political system. And no, don't go and fucking burn it down, although that's an option. Maybe talk to your neighbours about homeschooling. Maybe talk to them about unschooling. That's a way to fuck the system. It's a small way. We're still in here. But what are you going to do? Curl up in a ball and wait to die and hope that when you meet the being in death, you'll know what to do without any practice in life? I mean, we're here. Fucking might as well do something, but don't do something that feeds the fucking machine, like I'm doing right now. I'm talking into the screen. I'm feeding the machine. Hopefully, someone gets more out of this than it takes out of them. I won't. I won't get more out of this than it's taking out of me. That's just the way it fucking goes. So if you were smart and you were running a system, you would use suffering to distract your enemies because they have empathy and you don't. These beings that run this place do not have empathy. They don't have feelings. It's like the brain in your head floats in liquid. It doesn't give a fuck. Drink the Coke. Your liver goes, what are you fucking doing to me? You just went to war. Your brain and your hand and your mouth just went to war with your liver over Coca-Cola. Brain doesn't give a fuck. It's got a bit of a caffeine rush and it's floating in the fluid. It doesn't feel anything. You can open a person's skull up and poke the brain. It doesn't feel. That's solid facts. Medical, hard, physical stuff. There are beings here calling the shots that do not feel. And you do. I do. Even if you don't, fuck, I do. So cause a lot of suffering around the beings. Distract them from the war. Or whatever. Maybe the war's bullshit as well. We're just in chains. The whole thing's in chains. You can't fight it. Whatever. If that's the case, if there's absolutely nothing you can do here, and the beings that run this place feed on suffering and misery, then I will choose not to suffer. Come and kick me in the face, punch me in the head, burn my house down, torture my family, take all my money. Go for it. It'll be hard. Fuck, it'll be hard. But I will give you the least amount of misery out of that from me, because I will not feed these fucking things any more than I have to. I'm really serious about that. That is the game. And if someone gets themselves to a hard enough spot that you can't distract them with the suffering around them, then make them suffer. Make the family beat on them. Make them be born in a vehicle that's rooted from the moment it comes out. Give them every opportunity to have personal misery and suffering, not abstract, not it's hard for me to watch the suffering of others. You know, that's one being that you could torture them and they'll never talk, but you torture their friend, they'll tell you. That's one configuration. The other configuration is you can torture the friend all you want, they won't tell you, but you start on them, they'll give you everything you want to know. There's the other configuration. And so we've got all that going on. Because that's how this place is run, this system. Maybe not this whole place, but the system we find ourselves in. So, I perhaps haven't done anything on this platform where I've laid it out quite so clearly. But now you know. That's my view. And maybe my view of suffering doesn't count because I haven't suffered enough. But from a war game perspective, from a farming perspective, have a look at what the suffering and the misery is doing. Why are the beings making you suffer? For fun? They're parasites. What are they feeding on? What do they eat? What can you do that makes them turn around and run away? What emotion? I mean, you just got to walk this through logically. What do they like to feed on? What is poisonous to them? I mean, they live on energy, right? We all live on energy. But some energy, I can't eat plutonium, I don't think. Maybe I can. I don't know. I've never tried. I can't eat battery acid. It's energy. It's a catalyst in the battery. The battery can use it. Why can't I? It doesn't work for me. I'm not calibrated for it. These parasites don't seem to be calibrated to anything other than misery and suffering. And so if you think I'm a prick because I say, get a hold of your misery and suffering, or you're just fucking feeding those cunts, then I'm a prick. But that's what I do. I wheel up a bit of gallows humour. I laugh about it. I get on with it. And I don't wallow in it, because that's food. And why would I want to feed the system that has enslaved me? That doesn't make any sense. So worst case scenario, there's nothing I can do in the living body. I don't actually believe that, think that, or feel that. I think there's a lot more going on than that. But worst case scenario, there's nothing I can do. In a living body, I've absolutely fallen into a pit of hell that there is no way out of other than full death, back out of the body again. Spirit has to leave the body, never to return. And at that point, then there's a chance you might get out, or you might get rolled back around again. Because there's pretty good intel that that's exactly how the system works. It catches you before you get out and it rolls you back around again. That's worst case scenario. Then what on God's green earth, which God, would I be doing with my time in here other than trying to help to make people aware that they're participating in a beast system that lives on human misery and suffering? I would be not feeding the slave masters. That's it.